So welcome back to our math class. This evening we're going to work on another lesson, order of operations. Most of us are familiar with order of operations. We may have learned in school the phrase, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or some of us may have been taught it as PEMDAS. But this little acronym basically gives us an idea of how to perform multiple operations in one problem. Again, the P stood for parentheses, and we did parentheses from left to right. The E stands for exponents, we do those from left to right. Multiply and divide, we do those at the same time, and we do those left to right. Adding and subtracting, we do those at the same time, and we do those from left to right. So when it comes to this problem right here, I have 12 minus 6 divided by 2. Keep in mind, I could say 12 minus 6 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. But I really didn't follow the order of operations, so that's why it's so important to do order of operations, because if we were doing a really important problem, if you were doing it one way and I was doing it another way, then we had to put those results together to form a bigger problem. We made a problem in our problem, so it gets kind of redundant. So that's why it's important to kind of follow the same pathway. So the order of operations actually say not to do this, but when there's subtraction division problem, division actually takes precedence over subtraction, so we should be going 6 divided by 2 first, which is 3, and 12 minus 3 turns around and becomes then 9. And again, I like to do it down the page as opposed to across the page on a lot of these. So problems look like this, I kind of work my way down. So when I do this problem right here, again, the parentheses I have to do first. That's when you can actually do subtraction before multiplication, because parentheses take precedence. So anytime you want to do adding and subtracting before multiplying and dividing, you will have to put that in parentheses to change the operation. So parentheses always done first, so that changes to a 2. The parentheses are no longer needed. I have times 4 divided by 7. So now we have multiplying and division problem. If there's multiplying and division problem, we just do them from left to right. So 2 times 4 is 8, and 8 divided by 7. It's probably easier just to write that as 8 divided by 7 as a fraction, because 7 really doesn't go to 8 evenly, so we just do that as an improper fraction. So 8/7 would be our answer. So over here I have 43 minus 1 divided by 4 plus 2 plus 10. When you have a fraction like this, you kind of treat this as 2 separate pieces as well. So you kind of do the numerator, the denominator next, and then you do the division. So in this problem here, we actually do the numerator first, 42, 4 plus 2 is 6, and we add the 10. Now that I have division and addition, division takes precedence over addition, so I have 7 plus 10, which in turn turns into a 17. So 17 will be the answer to that problem. And again, you want to try to work it down the page. That's why it's not a good idea to write all your problems down, because, like I did, you start to run into the problem there. You have to give yourself plenty of room to work down the page. So now I have this problem right here, negative 3 cubed minus 6 times negative 2 minus 2. Remember, when you have a problem like this negative does not go with the power. That just means 3 cubed, and then you have a negative. So I have to do exponents first, so 3 times 3 times 3. 9 times 3 be 27, so it's going to be just a negative 27. Minus 6 times negative 2 minus 2. So I still have 6 times negative 2 here that I have to multiply out before I can do my subtraction. So it's going to be negative 27 minus then a negative 12 minus 2. And remember, when we see terms, there's 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms. We really look at this as an addition. So I have this piece, and this piece to put together. So what I have really is a negative 27 and a 12 and a negative 2. So this tells me that I can go ahead and put the negatives together. That would make a negative 29, and then add the 12 to it. And again, if we talk about income and debt, there's more debt than income, so my answer should be negative. And my income is going to remove some of my debt. Looks like I'd be down to $17 of debt. So you kind of subtract that. So you kind of have to go 29 minus 12 there's the 17, but I gotta remember that there's more debt than income, so therefore it's gotta stay as a negative. So again, over here, I have to do exponents and then subtraction. But notice how there's parentheses here. So it actually means a -3 times a -3, which would be 9 minus 10. That's going to be a +4 minus 1, because again, you have in parentheses the negative. So that's going to actually make it become a positive. So now what I have is 9 minus 4 minus 1. You have 5 minus 1, which would be 4. So if the problem doesn't look real weird, you can just keep the subtraction in the problem if you want. But notice I have that double negative in there. I think it would have been easier to just change that on to addition to see that more easily. Okay, so there are a couple ways to work those problems out. So again, order of operations are really important when you have multiple operations in the same problem. Stay tuned.